Hi, it is me, Gitte Larsen from IBA Erhvervsakademi calling. So topic today in this video is price optimization, as you can see here on the first page. So price optimization, what is price optimization and why price optimization? So you can hear from the name optimizing the price, but according to what? So when setting a price on products, companies faces several challenges that they must at least evaluate when setting the price. So what is the right price on products? A price on a product should be able to create some kind of loyalty for the customer, meaning they would want to buy it again, or they would recommend it to friends and buy this product at that price, right? It should also give the company some kind of profit so it's able to cover all of the costs and of course the profit for the company for further growth and development. But setting that price is is an ongoing process for the company as it has challenges that they must evaluate as an ongoing process. So, for instance, competitors. Um, do competitors develop new products? Do they all of a sudden change price? Do we need to follow that price? Uh, um, are they withdrawing from a market, so giving opportunities for a company to extend market share, etc.? That is one part to evaluate for the company. Also, the consumers, the customers. What are the trends? Do customers expect something new in our product? What about the activity sales or demand on the market side? Is it important for companies to, of course, evaluate, and should they by that use the price in creating demand, if you can do so, or at least to somehow give attention to the product again? And of course, internally in the company, what are the costs of producing the product or buying the product for resale, of course. So within this triangle, you could say that I call it the dynamic triangle, but we have this triangle because all of these three parts have effect on each other, right? So companies need to adjust and evaluate price all the time. But one thing the company can do is to take a look at whether or not it is possible for them within their possibilities of changing price to optimize that price, optimize the profit by changing making some changes to the price. So that is what we do here in this price optimization topic here, subject here. So trying to optimize the profit um, is, of course, we need to have some assumptions for the company to try to set up a mathematical formula to optimize their profit. Therefore, sometimes um, theory is a simplified world, right? So we need up to set these assumptions. For instance, one assumption is we only look at one product at a time because products within a company very often they affect each other, right? The sales of one product might take out the sales of another product. Take phones as an example. Every time a company comes up with a new edition of a phone, the sales of the previous edition, which is still on the market, will, or at least the price will at least start to go down forward, right? So we only consider one product at a time. We only consider it for one period, okay? Because as I explained earlier, this is something dynamic, something that the company needs to evaluate all the time. So one product for one period. Also, the company has full overview over the correlation between price and sales, the correlation between sales and costs. So they have full overview of their costs and sales and price, etc. It's very difficult to have that kind of overview in the practical world. Okay. And then one last, there are more assumptions, but one last important assumptions I want you to know is that there is only one goal for the company, and that is to optimize their profit. Now we know when companies are in in a situation or have a goal, for instance, to extend their market share or go into new markets, etc., sometimes they know that the profit will not be optimized. But here in our case, when we look at this optimization theories, they only have that one goal, and that is, of course, to optimize the profit. So first, we need to take a look at who sets the price, because we can have some market structures where the price has been set by the market. And that is the market structure that we refer to as perfect competition, right? Here, demand and supply will determine the price. If the company either go lower in price, they will lose out on profit. Higher in price, the sales will go down and they will lose a profit as well. So if we have the market structure of perfect competition, the market sets the price, and in that case, the company becomes a price taker. But in other parts of market structures, and we are here on the AP degree focusing on monopolistic competition and monopoly, uh, the companies has the opportunity to try out different prices and see the effect on sales, and then with that create different scenarios on price sales. Now we know, and you must know from your macroeconomics, that on normal goods, at least, we have a negative relationship between price and sales, meaning if price goes down, sales go up. So there is a negative relationship between price and sale, and we take that into consideration when setting the whole table for calculation of the optimum price here. So that's the first thing both the company needs to determine and to look at and be specific. Are we at a market with perfect competition, or do we look at monopolistic competition or monopoly? It's very rare, but it is. Oligopoly is more on the top up and the business economic election course that you can have, so we don't consider it here right now. One last thing about perfect competition. If the perfect competition and the market had sets the price, we will see a price sales function, a graph that is vertical. So have that in mind when we start to calculate the different methods here in optimizing the price. You need to know about two methods when optimizing the price. The first one is called the total method. The total method is basically about finding where do we have the highest profit. So we calculate our revenue, we calculate our contribution, and we can take it further if we have total cost, so we can just calculate the profit. And where we find the highest profit, that's where we would recommend the company to set the price. Now, looking at the marginal method, in the previous videos regarding costs, you had been taught about marginal cost, right? The change in variable cost or total cost caused by a change in number of units the company produces, right? So we have also the marginal revenue. So basically what we look at is the change in revenue caused by a change in supply or change in production, right? So the rule for the marginal method is to set up that the marginal revenue needs to be higher than or equal to the marginal costs. As long as the marginal revenue is higher than or equal to the marginal cost, we are contributing positive to our marginal contribution. So as long as we see that situation, the company should continue to lower the price. Remember, if we lower the price, we increase the sales. So as long as we have the situation that marginal revenue is higher than or equal to the marginal cost, the company should continue to lower the price and take that extra sales. If, of course, they are on a monopolistic or monopole competition market structure. Otherwise, in the perfect competition, the company should just try to deliver more products to the market, to produce more, and take the extra sales. Of course, they cannot pay with the price. But let's try these things out, and we will talk more about it in class, of course. So what I want you to do is to go into Excel and press pause and recreate this Excel sheet that I have prepared for demonstrating the price optimization under the different market structures and the different methods. So press pause and recreate this table here. This table is the table we always use for calculating price optimization. You will be taught a mathematical solution as well. But this is also an okay way to optimize. Sorry, a lack of words here. So what we do here, remember, total method is to find the highest profit. So the first thing we do is to calculate the revenue. Now I know here when we have perfect competition and we have 0 sales, we of course have 0 revenue. So price multiplied by sales will give you the revenue. So now I have the calculation. I will just double click and see that all the way from top to bottom I've calculated the revenue. So I calculate the contribution by taking my revenue and subtract my variable cost. Now you would say zero activity, 0 variable cost. You know by now what defines the variable cost here. So, but now you have the formula that you can copy by double clicking, and you can already start to see here, all right, it looks like at the price, price is 110, it's perfect competition, but at the supply or production of 8, it seems we have the highest contribution. So that must be the perfect, the optimum price. Let's calculate the profit here, because even though we will have the same result here, sometimes you are provided with the total cost here, just to prove to you that here is also where we have the highest profit. Now we have subtracted the same fixed cost, so of course it is. So this method is about finding the correlation between price and production, where we have the highest profit. As simple as that. All right. So this was a price optimization, perfect competition, price taker, total method. So I'm jumping into the next sheet where I had prepared this this table where we are changing the last 3 columns a bit, because now we want to calculate the marginal revenue, the marginal cost, and the marginal contribution. And let me just have a look at time here. Yeah, I think I can at least start this, and I will make a part 2 of this video. So we start again by calculating the revenue. So production multiplied by price, and double click. So now let's calculate the marginal revenue. All right. So as you saw in the slides, what we do is we take the difference in the revenue, so from 110 to 0, or the other way around, of course, and divide this with the change in production here. All right, so change in the revenue caused by a change in production. Press enter. So if you remember, I will double click because now we have the formula that we need. If you remember, I briefly said that when we are talking about perfect competition, what we have is a vertical price sales function, a vertical price sales graph, because the price will always stay the same. And if that's the case, our marginal revenue will be equal to the price. All right? So I still have 1 minute to go. Let's quickly calculate the marginal costs. So the change in costs, and here we are talking about the variable costs, caused by a change again in production. Oh, I need my brackets here. By a change in production. There you are. So I double click. Now, the thing is, we need to take a look at, as long as marginal revenue is higher than or equal to marginal cost. I will start that in the next video, part 2. So stay tuned and start the next video.